がここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバンとの国は気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね。
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and continue the long-standing tradition of covering Japanese boxing here on True School Sports. True School Sports, the #1 source of Japanese boxing in America. Now listen guys, this is a very important video for the Japanese boxing coverage and just the archives because listen, I've seen a lot of these Japanese fighters, you know, when they turn pro, the kind of hype they get. You know, Reita Tsutsumi's had a crazy amount of hype, you know, turning pro. Tomoya Suboi accomplishing what he's done, you know, as an amateur. He got a lot of hype as a pro. Even Yuga Osaki to a degree, you know, Yuga Osaki was getting a lot of attention earlier in his career because, you know, he had a lot of videos that went viral on YouTube. But guys, I have never ever seen any fighter from Japan get the level of hype and attention and notoriety at such a young age as I've seen for the young fighter Yuga Fujiki. Yes, Yuga Fujiki. Shout out to Yuga Fujiki. He's a really interesting fighter. I feel like, you know, we're in the middle of what I like to call Yuga Fujiki mania because I mean everyone who follows Japanese boxing is talking about him, from the boxing community to the reporters like Daisuke Segura, the great reporter. Shout out to Daisuke. And even the face of Japanese boxing, you had the monster himself, Naoya Inoue himself, talking about Yuga Fujiki, pretty much saying that, like, look, Yuga Fujiki is a super prospect of high school. You know, he won the All Japan Championship as, you know, we thought he would, and he's very strong and he's a must watch. So who is this Yuga Fujiki that the fight game and the boxing world continues to speak upon? So let's unpack this. So Yuga Fujiki, guys, he's a fighter that's pretty much won everything there is to win domestically in Japan, from, you know, the high school tournament and things like that. He won the high school tournament recently, which is a big deal for him. But the biggest thing he ever did as an amateur fighter was in 2024, last year, when he won the World Championships, the Under-19 World Championships out here in America, actually, out here in Pueblo, Colorado. And you know, Japan has a good amateur system domestically, but they're not known for really meddling in the world competitions. That trend has started to change with guys like Tomoya Suboi, and it looks like Yuga Fujiki is now in that pantheon of Japanese amateurs. So let's talk about him. I watched a couple of fights of his, and what I'll say about Yuga Fujiki is this: he's a guy that, you know, he has a lot of composure. You know, people may see how slick he is and be impressed by that. People may see like his athleticism and be impressed by that, his fundamentals, be impressed by that. Even his power to a degree, and be impressed by those things. But for me, when I looked at the tape and I saw this young kid fight, the thing that really impressed me the most about Yuga Fujiki was his composure. There were a lot of fights I watched where fighters would throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations, and he's sitting there in the pocket right in front of them, making them miss, countering them aggressively, right? So those are traits of a fighter that already at a young age, I believe he's 17 or 18 years old. At a young age, he already understands his punching distance. He has great anticipation, and he's able to use that to his advantage to be a really good counter puncher. So those are things I've seen from him. I've seen in some of his fights, you know, him angle off and create new punch angles for himself and punch off the pivots. He's a really intriguing prospect, and from what I've read, from what I've gathered, you know, he's slated to turn pro in 2026. And it's going to be a very anticipated pro debut. He has, I'm not sure if he's working out of the Ohashi boxing gym, but it has been discussed that, you know, he may be training there, and he does have an affiliation of sorts with the Ohashi boxing gym, which is, we all know, if you follow Japanese boxing to any degree, you know about the prestige of the Ohashi boxing gym with Naoya Inoue leading the charge. You got Andy Hiroko, one of the best 140 pounders in the world. You know, you got Yuta Sakai, who's also one of the best young Japanese fighters in the world. So he goes there. He's going to be in an environment with top fighters. You know, Takuma Inoue as well, top fighters and world-class coaches. So I mean, it's insane. Like, guys, if you're not following what this young man is doing, I have not seen. I'm telling you guys, like, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not using hyperbole. I have not seen a young fighter from Japan get this level of hype. Not Reita Tsutsumi, not Tomoyo Tsuboi being fast-tracked. Hell, not even Inoue. And you know, I've read some interviews and I've talked to people in Japan that have heard things about, you know, what Yuga Fujiki, and they've said that a lot of people believe that, you know, he may be even as far along and maybe even a little bit further along than Naoya Inoue when Inoue was his age. So take it with a grain of salt. I don't want to put that on no Japanese fighter or any fighter in general. That's a high standard to live up to. But he's a guy that I'm going to be really keeping my eyes on. You know, a really fun counterpuncher. A guy that, you know, can fight, I believe, multiple styles already at a young age, and with time and experience is going to get better and better. In one of his recent fights he competed in that I watched, he competed in the 65 kg category, which is 143 pounds, if you guys don't know. So he's not like one of these, as my boy Stacey McKinley would say, he's not one of these cartoon characters. He's not one of these like smaller Japanese fighters fighting at 108 and, you know, light flyweight, bantamweight. No, he's a guy that's going to be fighting in weight classes that have Americans in them. So this is a fighter that might really have more mainstream appeal than a lot of other Japanese fighters. So he's definitely someone you want to look out for, because in a couple of years you may look up and you may see him, you know, matching up with some of our American fighters, you know, in the 140 division, at 147, at 154. You know, he's not a small Japanese fighter. He's 5'7", and he's already like 17 or 18 years old. So he's gonna grow a little more. He's gonna fight a little more, and we'll be talking about him a lot more here on True School Sports. But I wanted to get my first video about Yuga Fujiki off the mark because people have been asking me to talk about him. Those are my initial thoughts on him, and I'll be talking about him a lot more as things develop and things progress. So if you guys got anything you want to add about Yuga Fujiki and his boxing career and anything you feel I should know, feel free to leave it in the comments, because I'm always willing to learn and educate myself. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take your eyes.
Thank you for watching True School Sports.
Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports empire, the home of boxing. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, guys. So help us keep being great. Help us keep pushing out that real boxing content for the fine folks all around the world. And make sure you jab, you hook, you Mike Tyson, you Mayweather that subscribe button. Pops, show them how do they gotta hit the subscribe button. Pop, pop, pop.